Okay, I think I'm live. So we're just gonna wait here for everyone to pile in, for hopefully people to pile in. If you're watching this on the replay, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. All right, all right, all right. All right. Oh, we got two partiers already right off the bat. I'm gonna wait till more people circle in. I don't know why the chat's not working. I do not know why. I do not know why the chat's not working. My chat is not working. Let's see if I send something. Damn. Wow, I don't think my chat is working, guys, but that is very, very unfortunate because we need for that to work. How do I fix that? Oh, boom, never mind. Found it, guys. I found it. I found it. I gotta pop out the chat. Okay, good. What up? Okay, hey, what's up? And Antoine, what's up? I know everything. Cesar Perez, guys, I'm so glad you and the chat actually works. Perfect. Everyone here is hereby relegated. Boom, one day, hopefully. All right, just wait a couple more minutes and then we're going to start the official live stream. Let me get all your comments up that I wanted to talk about. And then, can you guys hear me okay, by the way? Or am I too close to the mic? Perfect. Perfect. Everything's working. Happy about it. Thanks, Antoine. Hope I'm saying your name right. All right, where's my first comment? Let's see if any of you guys are here that have comments on this. Motherfucker. Thanks, Just Things. You can show that. It's okay. I don't care. What's up, guys? You guys, thank you so much. This is the most people I've ever had on a live stream so far on the channel. So shout out to all you guys for supporting the channel. All right, let's just get started. We got 8 people. 8 people is a party to me. So welcome to the live stream of promotion and relegation, guys. I wanted to do this because I posted a video about promotion relegation, how I think we should be set up here in MLS and US soccer. And I got a lot of good responses from you guys. So I thought that, the best way to really go ahead and have a good conversation about it instead of just replying a 10 paragraph reply to you guys is just have a live stream so you can sit and chat, kick back, relax, talk about promotion relegation because that's what we all care about here. Some of us don't like it, some of us do like it. But that's fine. I only got an hour here, so because I got to go out with the family. It's Friday night, get my buzz on. But they know they can wait. They know that their boy Drew's got to talk about some soccer stuff first. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some comments that I have here on my phone, on my YouTube app that you guys replied to. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick shout out whoever made that comment, and I'm also going to just go ahead and read the comment. If it's a super long one, which a lot of them are, I'm going to try to skim through it. But regardless, I'm going to give you my fullest reply and reaction to that comment. So, and if you guys have more ideas while I read these comments, you can write them down in the chat because the boy Drew can see them. Let's just reply to these comments here first. What's up, guys? Yo, thank you so much for coming out, Jonathan. Hartford City Athletic will take over the league next season. Perhaps. Cincinnati is a crap squad. Dude, Cincinnati would be absolutely relegated right now. I think they would actually be relegated mathematically. So they'd have to prepare themselves for USL Championship. And how cool does that sound, by the way? Before we get started, let me tell you guys my what my structure was. If you guys forgot or didn't watch that video, basically how I wanted it to be set up here in MLS. I want the MLS to have promotion and relegation because USL now has a new structure where it's USL Championship, then you got USL One, and then USL Two. So it's almost like the English Premier League, like how they have their relegation set up. But what would be different with us is that since we have conferences, we could have two conferences as the same, East and West, keep them, and then those bottom two teams will get relegated down to USL Championship. Then the top two teams from the USL can go up and advance to the MLS, and then so on and so forth. But every little league does keep the conference system in place because MLS having a huge table would be a terrible idea, at least for me. Like I would hate to have one big team, 30 team table, and then have like the bottom five teams be relegated. That would just uh, make us more of a laughing stock to the rest of the world who's really close minded. So that's that. So let's start off first. I want to find people who are here and read your guys' comments first. I know Izanda had a comment. I know you did, brother. Let's see. Bear with me. I have not done a live stream in like a year, I think. Let's see. I swear I had someone here. Oh, here we go. Izanda. Thanks for replying on the video. You wrote, I think promotion and relegation, if the US is going to have it, it should be like how they do it in Germany because that's where most Americans are. Okay. I think by that you mean that you want the promotion relegation, like the relegation system of it, part of it, to be kind of like a playoff. I think the third third to last team plays off against one of the teams coming up from the second division, like they do in Germany. So I think I would be open to that idea because that's definitely a good idea. I think and having keeping like a little playoff like that would actually be very Americanized and like, but it won't be as well because when Germany does have their own playoff system, I think that would work out and fit well with our own playoff system that we would still have in the MLS. Which we just because we get promotion relegation doesn't mean we have to stop having playoff systems. Like we can have like less teams though. Like I think right now it's like 7 teams from each conference. Like it's like 14 teams. Like we should have like at least 4 on each side. Then that would make it first of all a lot smaller, make it all one leg, and that's that. So I would be open to your idea, Izan, to keep it to have it almost similar to the German relegation system. That's really cool. All right, some people are commenting. Let's just reply here. From H Huss, do you watch the Premier League? Yes, I do actually. I'm a avid Liverpool supporter before the Champions League win and before they were actually good. Back when they had Steven Gerrard, when Steven Gerrard had that slip, that's when I was a fan. And unfortunately, I think I jinxed them. Last time you streamed, which I think was the day of, yeah, I think it was last year, the MLS Cup final. That was the last stream. You're right, just thanks. And I believe you were there too, Sense. Thanks for being a faithful supporter here in MLS. Tampa Bay Rowdies are on fire so far. Yeah. So talking about USL teams, by the way, let's talk about real quick shout out to Phoenix Rising, who I think have like a 14 winning streak, the highest win streak in American soccer. Like that's intense. See a team like that come into the MLS. Come on, like that would be good hype. They don't have to buy their way in. As a Man U fan, we can't be friends. LOL. Oh man, come on, that's all right. Oh man, keep conversations so that they can prevent a region from the US having too many teams. Yes, keeping conferences. Yeah, that would help prevent teams from having from one region from having a lot of teams. I agree. That's a good idea there. Cesar Perez. What's your opinion on B teams in USL? Would you think they could get promoted to MLS? Personally, I don't like them since Hartford Athletic in conference is B team. A B team like that, what my idea was during my video was, if you look at La Liga, they had in the second division, they had a couple years ago, they had the RM Castilla, which is Real Madrid's youth B team, and then they had Barcelona B, which is their B team, obviously. And I remember, I think the 2010-2011 season, Barcelona B had was doing really well in the second division. So then if the season finished right there, they'd technically supposed to be promoted to the first league. But because it's a B team, they're like not really allowed to go ahead and advance like that. They're not allowed to play in the same league as Barcelona. Now, say Barcelona got relegated, and then that same year Barcelona B got promoted, then it would be okay because they won't be in the same league. I don't know why that's a thing, but it makes sense because why would you have Barcelona and Barcelona B in the same league? Like that's weird. Like Barcelona would use some of their B team players just in case to cover injuries or international stuff, whatever. So I think having that kind of system here in MLS would be a good idea. MLS having, let's say, LA Galaxy 2 is their B team. So let's say LA Galaxy 2 was killing it in the Western Conference in the USL Championship. I think they should not be promoted, and then they just basically don't count in the promotion section, and the team under it would be promoted instead, or maybe not a team at all. I don't know. They would have to work that out because, and then some people might think, oh, what's the point of them even trying to play if they can't get promoted to the first league? Well, the point is that since they're a B team, there's a lot of youngsters there, a lot of teams, a lot of players wanting to prove themselves, not just to their own parent league, the LA Galaxy, but to other leagues in MLS possibly, or even to other teams around the world. Because young players do get a lot of hype, and a lot of people around the world want to sign the best young talent. So helping to carry your team to the top of the table, regardless of not being promoted, would still give a lot of attention to you as a young player and a lot of motivation for you guys to do well in your B team. So like, I mean, obviously we'll have some B teams who are just complete trash because I believe like Atletico Madrid, their B team is like in the third or fourth division of Spanish soccer. So that's that. The Vegas Rager. I missed it. Damn, you did not miss the Vegas Rager. You just in time. Just in time, brother. I hope more Americans choose to go to the Premier League instead of the other Euro League, even at clubs like Wolves. Yeah, teams like Wolves and West Ham. I think they're teams who have a good chance of being finishing in like at least the top 8 of the Premier League. So definitely having more American players there would be really well. And that the Premier League does get the most revenue, does get the most TV sponsorships and like TV rights. So obviously having more American players under that spotlight would actually help improve. Um, I believe improve the way the world sees American talent. Reserve teams and B teams shouldn't have their own separate pyramid. Yeah, I mean, a B team and a reserve team could have their own pyramid, but then we'd have to have more teams created or more teams coming up through the ranks to fill the gaps of those teams that, if they were leave, that they would leave those empty gaps. Damn, I cannot talk today, and I have no. I'm live, so I really just can't. Also, B team should not be in the USL Championship, maybe League One or yeah. I think Jonathan. I think that's a good idea. Having them B teams in League One or League Two would probably be better. I think that if they ever were to decide to adapt the pro rels situation, that moving those teams to those lower divisions would be really well. That way, there's like no big mix-ups. And then obviously those B teams can't play in like MLS Cup games or US Open Cup games like because what if they face off in the final with their parent team? That wouldn't make any sense. Get on the fuck. Soon Toronto Montreal. there are 3 teams, same group in the Champions League. Yes, he's on. I did see that yesterday when the teams are announced. I think we have Christian Pulisic, Sergino Dest, and Timothy Weah all in the same Champions League group with their different teams. So that's going to be intense and actually really good for a marketing perspective for like Fox Soccer to market it. Like, hey, Americans are facing off against each other in the biggest competition in the world. They're growing their young talent, blah, blah, blah. You know how they like to hype that shit up. But that is pretty cool. I would love to see Christian Pulisic going up against Sergino Dest. Like that's gonna be a good test to see Dest's defensive abilities against a player like Christian Pulisic, who's very quick on his feet, very like he just glides through the pitch. Like it's awesome. All right, let's go answer one more question or one more of these. Let's see. I got here a comment from I Know Everything. Drew, I absolutely love your idea. Thanks, man. The MLS itself, though, will fight this all the way to its grave. They want to decide who is in the league and to seem to have protected himself from this a long time ago. I wish there was a way to force this system on the MLS, though. Yeah, I kind of wish. Pro and rel is going to be a huge topic forever in MLS. If they never get it, it's going to be a topic for the rest of the league's life. And unfortunately, I think I Know Everything has a point. I think he does almost know everything because, it's going to be really hard for MLS, at the executive level to adapt to this kind of format because they do like to pick and choose who comes into the MLS. They have a maximum or minimum of amount of money you're allowed to, you're supposed to have to enter the MLS. Like a pay to play system in the MLS is terrible. Like Cincinnati, let's for example, a team like that pay to find all its funds, having a good fan support system, which it really does have one of the best supports in MLS with fans, and also does have a good stadium. Having all those things, and then the financial situation, they reached it, so they were able to buy their way into the MLS. Okay, cool. But then now they're underperforming. All the hype that came up through them is almost out the window because they're bottom of the table with like barely 20 something points. Like they are complete garbage. And I'm sorry for Cincinnati fans out there, but it's true. Like they're not doing well. And a team like that should be relegated back to the second division because clearly they don't have what it takes to stay in the first division. So they got to come back to the championship, either sell some players, buy some new players, fight their way through that championship, and come back to the MLS and hope that maybe this time the uh, the outcome will be a little different. All right, so let's go. Shout out to the MLS Zone, by the way, who commented here. This system is just like the Premier League. I love to see it as well. And glad you, and you're right, you should keep the conferences. Great video, man. If you guys don't subscribe to the MLS Zone, definitely think about it. He just talks about MLS like I do. Really cool dude. I have not met him in person yet, but hopefully one day we will do a little collab. So that'll be interesting. He does do more, kind of like an MLS Mondays on here, where he does cover everything over the weekend, but he gets more in depth into that. He does have good edits, so definitely check him out. Let's see who else is here real quick, so I can comment to you guys. Read your comments if you have them. India and Australia are going to have pro rel in in a few years. Even Canada is going to have pro rel in a decade. Yeah, could you imagine if pro rel went to places like Australia and Canada before the US? Like that would then we would almost have to go and have promotion and relegation for ourselves because come on, like we're the only league in the world who won't have it. Like we'll be even more of a laughing stock to the rest of the world than we already are, which is kind of annoying sometimes. I did see a good comment I wanted to bring up. A lot of people say that they wish the MLS didn't have an expand to 30 teams and they kept it at 24 or something like that. And I agree. I think it's way too big now, um, and I know it's gonna get even bigger. Like I know they'll probably up the expansion limit to probably like 32, 34. Like it's gonna get ridiculous. It's really gonna get ridiculous. All right, we have a comment here about Nicholas Botello. If you're still here, Nicholas, this is a pretty long one. He's got really good points here, though. To be honest, I had the same system in mind, in my head for ProRel, but a few changes. So basically, what he changed from my structure was he wants to have a maximum of 24 teams in the MLS using the two conference systems and a team and an 8-team MLS Cup playoffs. The worst performing teams in the MLS the season before the adoption of ProRel will go to the USL Championship. And that I think, first of all, that first statement is a great idea because, like I just said a couple seconds ago, having 30 teams in the league, it's a little too much. But then having 24, it's a little more adaptable. It's a little more you can adjust to that more. So what he wants is once promotion relegation is in set, I mean it's in place, the teams prior to the initiation of that will go and be playing their next season in the championship. I think that's a good idea to really a good way to actually keep the league at 24 teams, and definitely having an 8-team MLS Cup playoff system even better. 4 teams from the West, 4 teams from the East. It won't take as long. They should first of all be one leg each because having that 2 leg stuff is kind of annoying. Anyway, USL League One has a way less teams in League Two or even in the championship, so it needs to be balanced out to an even level by automatically promoting the best League Two teams during the pre-adoption season and relegating the worst championship teams during the pre-adoption season to balance things out. Same reason that I am reducing the MLS from 30 to 24. Okay, that's cool. So you basically just want to make all the other leagues even, like with an even amount of teams in the lower leagues, and that's true. We need more teams in League Two. League Two teams get promoted to League One will probably have to be made professional in order to play there. Yeah, League Two is drastically different to all the other leagues because of its format, the sheer amount of teams, and the summer schedule, which means teams from that league going up to League One will have to adjust to a longer season, have to sign players and may want at least a couple $100 a week. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky situation, especially for the lower leagues like League One, League Two, where they don't have a lot of, first of all, a lot of marketing, marketability. They don't have a lot of financial support from like big leagues like MLS or big franchises like, big US soccer stuff in general. Like they're not going to be heavily investing a lot of money in there. They'll have to be hopeful that some owners come in and really buy those teams, and like maybe richer owners and they can provide some money for some players to be playing in there, some decent players at least. That way, when they progress to the upper leagues, they do get more money from U.S. soccer, and U.S. soccer has, I think, a pretty good amount of money, despite what everyone might think. I think they have Good money, they're just fucking greedy with it. Can I curse on live stream? Nah, fuck it, who cares? All right, let's check out the chat. If I miss your question, guys, I'm sorry. Maybe ask it again if I do go too far down. Yo, Drew, why you show no love to Philly? Your boys winning. Oh yeah, you're right. Just think, my boys are freaking killing it in the league. I haven't watched the most recent game. I don't know if they're still in second place in the league, but they need to not lose momentum. They got to keep the momentum because they're gonna make the playoffs no matter what. They got to keep the momentum going into the playoffs so they can at least get to the final. Like I would love to have another Philadelphia Super Bowl thing, almost like a Cup final here. And well, I'm not in Philly, but here in Pennsylvania, that would be so dope. I might be a fraud, but I have yet to see Philadelphia live, so that freaking sucks because I have no one to go with. But you know what? I should just go like fuck it. Who cares? Like I'm sure I'll find someone to hang out with. I'm a pretty fun guy. What's our time? 21 minutes. We got 40 minutes left. USL referee screwed Hoffer Athletic against Red Bulls 2 by giving 2 red cards. Yo, I'm gonna say this right now. I think USL, their teams and the names and the logos are cooler than the MLS ones. Boom. Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? It's true. Like I see USL teams like, dude, that's a cool logo or that's a cool name. Like Tampa Bay Rowdies, like Hartford Athletic. Like, come on, cool stuff there. And a lot of them don't really use stuff like FC or Sporting. Like it's kind of a mix, but there's a lot of good names out there in the USL. And unfortunately, I don't follow USLs on their leagues that closely. Like I follow so much MLS right now, and sometimes I'll see some USL scores, but for the most part, it's hard for me to really keep up to date with everything, even under the leagues, because they're not shown around the world. Like they're not shown around US soccer like that. They're not like represented enough. They're not like marketed enough or like easily accessible almost. Like you just I don't know. At least for me. Maybe I'm just not trying hard enough. I think I'm a fraud now. See, if I was not live, I would have edited that part out. Why call Euro people Euro snobs? Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of those fuck. Either a common. Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that the European soccer fans kind of like look down on us American soccer fans. They think we're not doing it right. Well, in their eyes, and they think that first of all we call it soccer, and every time I see this on Twitter, like if I say soccer on a post or something, people say, oh, it's football. Like, oh, don't believe him, he said soccer. Like, first of all, dude, soccer came from the fucking English people years ago, and then they also called it soccer, and then now we just kept with calling it soccer because by the time they all changed it back to football, we already had our own football here, so why would the fuck would we change that? Like, it does get me annoyed when people come at us just for saying soccer. Like they just don't even like educate themselves and understand where the word came from originally. It came from association football, associ, association, a soccer. That's where it came from. Boom, and then football. They just dropped the association part and just called it football from now on. Okay, let me just see. Most kids that want to be pro athletes don't realize the money. Okay, yeah. So Antoine, most kids want to be pro athletes don't realize the money that they can make playing soccer. That's true. I think soccer players are paid pretty decently, especially if you go to like a pretty big team. Even MLS, like I feel like the lower MLS teams don't those players don't make as much, but they still make enough where you're like, yeah, I wish I made that much money. Like if you're a normal person like me, like and they do. And I think that a big problem is for kid athletes from nowadays is that there's so many other sports here in America where they're pulled away almost at youth level. Like I feel like everyone has played soccer as a young kid because it's almost like we see soccer as just a kid's game, and then that's it. You can go out and you can put and like these kids will go on and play baseball or football. Uh, Hockey, basketball. There's just so much options here in America where kids will be branched off to different sections of sports here. And then if you and the rest of the world, there's really not that much options like there is here. Like I'm sure there's like some places have like cricket or rugby or like I'm not other places do have basketball, but for the most part, soccer over there is like the main thing that people want to be playing with. So that is a big problem here in America. Like the way Americans in general, like regular Americans, see soccer as a sport. Like that needs to be fixed, and then by then, well, when that's fixed, then we can finally go ahead and produce better talent. But until then, we'll be stuck with the surprise golden gems. If the US were to win a World Cup, how would you react? How First of all, how would I react? First of all, I would have to have if they were in the final, I would have to have a live stream. Like, we'd all have to watch this game together. The World Cup final, USA and whoever, we'd have to watch it live together. And like, who knows where my channel would be there if let's say it had like I don't know like 600,000 subscribers, like which is probably never gonna happen. If I had that many subscribers, I'd probably set something up somewhere where we guys can all come like somewhere in Philly or somewhere in New York, anywhere close, so we can all like people can come in and like watch the game on the big screen. Like I would probably try to host something because this is a big deal, and like I on my channel have been trying to grow soccer where we could get our national team to that stage. So, and if they would fucking win it, bro, I'd be freaking wasted. Oh my god, it'd be a huge party. And you guys know that America would freaking celebrate the shit out of that. Like it would be one of the biggest celebrations in American sports history. Like USA winning the World Cup, dude. I couldn't even imagine. That might be a video idea right there. What would happen if USA won the World Cup? Thanks, Cesar. I think the USL Championship should get VAR one promotion and relegation. ESPN Plus resign with them for until 2022 season. We'll have games on. Okay, yeah, ESPN Plus. You're right. So I think you're right. The USL Championship does is on the ESPN Plus. You're right. You're right. I'm a fraud. That would help the league grow out, Jonathan. You're right. ESPN, obviously one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sports outlet. So a good way to promote soccer at the lower levels. Even though a lot of people are kind of against ESPN Plus, for the most part, you can see highlights and stuff. You can see like results. I think it's fine. Have you checked out Danny Tradito? He has a good channel and makes a lot of good. Danny Tradito, I have not, but I will write that down on my phone. Getting just things. 4.99 was worth it. Cheaper than Netflix. It's way cheaper than Netflix. And I think ESPN Plus you can also watch like UFC or something like that, right? So I do watch them that sometimes. Let's go back up, see if I missed anything good. Yeah, sorry, Kenny Z, you've been blowing me up. I haven't seen stuff. Yeah, sadly, ownership will never allow it. Sadly, that's probably very, very spot on. I'm gonna call you Z. Very spot on, Z, because like I said earlier, it's almost like a money thing. People don't think that it's even worth the investment almost. Because that will never be world class. Berhalter is still calling Altidore for Christ's sake. Yeah, Josie Altidore, statistically the worst striker in Premier League history. Yeah, definitely one of the worst strikers ever in Europe. General, I think he had one goal for Sunderland ever. Um, so the fact that he still gets called up, not based on that, but just based off like his form with the national team, because his form with MLS with Toronto is, I think it's pretty good. He's had a good season in the league, but for the national team, like he's either injured, he either gets injured half through the tournament, or he gets gassed out fast. Like you guys see Outdoor, like he'll be full on blast in the first half. By the second half, like he needs to be taken out because he's like his tank's empty, bro. Like, and I know like he's not that fast, but he is strong. He's not the best finisher, but I feel like all he asks him is like his height, his strength to block off defenders, and he is really good at hold up play. Because Greg Berhalter has used his hold up play during the whole Gold Cup, so he is good with that. But I think Josh Sargent is the best way to go. He's got good hold up play as well. I remember when MLS had, oh my god, running penalties in MLS. I was thinking about making a video about this. I just have to find a way to get footage and not be copyrighted the hell out of myself. But and that is why when you watch them with their ugly jerseys, their ugly baggy jerseys, those 90 jerseys, running up to take a penalty, like that would be, it's almost like a hockey, right? Isn't that how hockey does their penalty shootout? They like skate up and they shoot past the goalkeeper. Uh, that's if they brought that back, it would be very cringy. We would be, I don't know why they even thought about doing it. You know why MLS was like that back then? Because it was still so like trying to do everything the American way. And like for the most part, sometimes you could do stuff the American way, but for other things you really you shouldn't. Like you can't change the way something's formatted like that, like a penalty kick. You can't change that. just because it's MLS. Like you can't like, oh, I think our American viewers are dumb, so they only like to see so if it's only like hockey or like other sports in America. No, like they if they're watching soccer, they gotta know soccer's rules. Don't change the rules just because they're in America. Oof, that rant though. Where am I at? I subscribe for ESPN FC. Yeah, I subscribe to ESPN FC too on YouTube. Antoine. Yeah, I definitely watched that. I watched highlights. I watched when they talk about MLS. I watched Sebastian Salazar get annoying sometimes. I watch it. Your boy Drew. One day, my dream, not my dream, but one of my goals, hopefully, is to be not a pundit, but like a guest on ESPN FC. We're like, hey, and Dan Thomas is like, hey, and now we go to Andrew Monroe, blah, 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 from Kicking It with Drew. Andrew, what do you think about Greg Berhalter becoming coach again of Columbus Crew because he failed at the national team level? Hey, what's up, guys? I think it's a good idea. Like, could you imagine that would be goals? Uh, Most kids who would play in soccer here in the U.S. will probably Euro fans that just care for Euros. That's true. I think, first of all, I think that's very true. A lot of kids playing soccer here want to be the next Messi, want to be Ronaldo. They're walking around with their jersey on them. They have Neymar, Hazard, like the big names from Europe is what the kids care about here, and that's true. A lot of kids do think about uh the Euro stuff before thinking about MLS, and that's true. I am guilty of that as well. I'm sure not the only one. MLS was always a second thought for me when I got into soccer. Like I played soccer when I was younger, like everybody, and then I had asthma, so I was like, I really can't play that much because I'm freaking dying. I want to be a center attacking midfielder, but I can't track back. Um, so after during high school, I was like, I'm too cool to play sports. I was a fucking loser. And then after that, like in 2010 is when I got right back into soccer. I was like, oh cool. I was like, I forgot how cool soccer was, and like I would follow I watched Spain win the World Cup, and I was like, I love Spain. It's so cool. Let me find teams. So I found Barcelona. That's how I found Barcelona, which was my first team that I was ever obsessed with. And then and I was like, yeah, I'm a Barca fan, but then I came to terms that I'm really just a Messi fan. And so and then that's true. I am guilty of that. Like I didn't really watch MLS. I didn't support it. I didn't care for it because I was too busy thinking about all the Euro stuff. Because the way they play, it's totally different. The way they hype stuff up, the players they have, the big name players, like it was. I just felt like it was something MLS didn't have yet. And I think right now MLS is at a bigger place than it was back then. They're in a much better place financially, much better place support wise. We got better rivalries like the LA Derby, like El Trafico. We got Hell is Real, if you want to call that a really good rivalry. Portland versus Seattle, like they have all these good rivalries in MLS currently that do bring hype up to the league, and that's good. And they have big players like Carlos Vela, Wayne Rooney, Zlatan. Really, really, really good stuff. And we got a lot of young talented players coming up. He's on the Wilt traffic cone. Yo, he is a freaking cone. Like I've said, it put a cone in the middle of midfield, it would actually stop more balls than Will Trap. Okay, and it's true. I have a question. What is it like to travel with supporter? I've only traveled once with a supporter group. It was a couple years ago. It was right when I started to get into soccer. My friend was like, "Hey, I don't talk to him anymore." But my friend was like, "Hey, I'm going to this team." It actually was an MLS game. I think he was a New York Red Bulls fan, and we were playing, or he was playing. Damn, where the fuck was he playing? I remember we went away because he was a Red Bulls fan. That was kind of one of my first experiences with MLS atmosphere. And I was like, oh, MLS is pretty cool. But I went away. It was just me and him. We took a road trip, went away, with this place, the stadium, wherever it was, and then we got our seats on the away section, and it was different. It's a different atmosphere than being at a home team advantage. Because when you're home, you're like, everyone's here with me. But when you're in an away game, you're like, you know, we're kind of outnumbered here. We're like the odd person out because this is not our home. This is not our team. We're just visitors here. Uh, so it was cool though. It's almost the same, but you just know that you're just uh, it's a different atmosphere, and you get a different vibe than you do from playing from going at home. I think I like soccer, but that soccer is played. Yeah, soccer is played all year round. If you think about it, we got the leagues, and we've got the friendlies. We got in summer tournaments, the Gold Copa America, Gold Cup, World Cup. We got all that shit. I wish Dallas versus Houston rivalry was as epic as it was years ago. Yeah, Dallas and Houston was a big rivalry. I would agree, and it still could be if I think Dallas and Houston were both a little more better, a little better there. Dallas is getting there. They're in the playoff spots right now, I believe, still. So they have good young players coming up. They got Paxton Pomykal. They have Jesus Ferreira. They've got good stars coming up through the ranks. And they produce talent like what Walker Zimmerman, like he was from FC Dallas, was it? And Matt Hedges, I believe, too. They all were from FC Dallas. So the FC Dallas does have one of the best youth systems in MLS. So if they can keep those youth players and really adapt and help continue them to grow at the senior level, then they can definitely have a better FC Dallas team as a whole. And then hopefully Houston can match that, because that would be a good Texas match. Or I guess once Austin FC comes, maybe someone can have a rivalry with them. I went to Gold Cup final, and the U.S. fans can learn a lot from the Mexico fans. Sorry to say. Yeah, I mean, probably. We grinded, but still need to maintain focus. Yeah. You face Dallas against Cincinnati tomorrow, dude. Come on, Cincinnati's not gonna win. If FC Dallas drops points against Cincinnati, then FC Dallas is not gonna have a good playoff season. I can't. I can't to travel on 9-2 in a game. Ottawa Fury versus Hartford Athletic. It takes a lot of work since we contacted our team and their team, which they give us a group discount. Oh, that's good. They have a good group discount. Yeah, that's gonna be good for you. Stay safe. Have a good trip. Hartford Athletic, I believe, is your team. So that's hopefully they come up with a win. It's always good when like um, a team's win away from home and like people travel. Like New York Red Bulls didn't win that game. I remember when I traveled with my friend, so that was kind of a bummer. It was like a buzzkill. Like, all right, well, they tried. I mean, I was pretty buzzed by then, so who cares? Oh, sorry, I didn't see your thing here, King Squad. Do you think they should change the format and copy how Euro plays? Whoever has more wins win the cup. Yes, that is one big thing I hate about MLS is that the top team just wins. Like it's the top team in either conference just wins the supporter shield. Like okay, cool, like that's cool, but like it's kind of looked down upon. Not looked down upon, but it's kind of like a little win, almost like you just won top of the table out of both tables, and you're not being praised with a champions medal. No, you got to get a champions medal, but go through playoffs by playing against a team who probably finished seventh place in their conference, and then if by some soccer magic that happens, which happens a lot of underdogs win it, and like you know what, we fucking like LAFC. What if LAFC lost to like I don't know, like the FC Dallas, for example? What if LAFC lost the playoff, not the playoff MLS Cup final to FC Dallas? Like that would be kind of wild. LAFC had like the best season. Now they got to go through all these other people who are under them in the league just to win the MLS Cup. Like that, you got a point there. That's kind of dumb. If you win the league, you win the league. That's it. And then maybe the supporter shield could be the playoff system. But I know they do it that way because it's an Americanized way to watch like a final. It's going through playoffs like that. LAFC losing to Dallas would be fucking Just think you'd be freaking lit if FC Dallas won the MLS Cup final against LAFC. All right, can't wait for Nations League. Did you watch Cincy versus Columbus? I did not watch. Oh, I did watch a little bit of Cincinnati versus Columbus that weekend. It was all right. I'm excited for Nations League, US versus Canada. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Nations League. If you're not don't really know what it is, I do have a video on the channel explaining what the heck the Nations League is. Basically, just like another competitive tournament for teams to get some more playing in with their national team. And we have a meeting at their main supporter group in the training hours, scarves with them. It says no tailgate. We meeting them at the home bar. Wow, that's gonna be a good place. Tailgating first of all is also really fun, but meeting like a bar like that where you see a lot of soccer fans, which is something I've never experienced in real life, that must be really dope. And swapping scarves like that would be actually that's very honorable. That's good. What is it about soccer that invokes so much emotion around the world? Why people are so emotionally invested in the sport? Why people treat it like a religion? That's a good question there, Cesar. Dude, what was the good questions here? I think what makes soccer so different is definitely the emotion, and it's what makes it so special. I think is you don't know if your team's gonna win. You don't know if your team's gonna score at all. And like a lot of Americans hate that soccer is like a low scoring game, but because they're so spoiled by games like basketball, baseball, or football where they have high number scoring. But for soccer, it's like it's different. Like, you I can't even explain. You just have to like almost be born with it. Like you have to feel it. You watch the game. You get close to a team, and then once they score, it's like a relief. You get to release all your endorphins, all your emotion once they score, and celebrate. That goal. And it's definitely called a beautiful game for a reason, but I honestly can't even explain why. But it's definitely the beautiful game because of those reasons, because of the emotion people have. The Philadelphia Eagles like won the Gold Cup. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and it was correct. My family was happy, and like my uncles, like my stepdad, his family, they were all happy. Like this was great. Like we're like Philadelphia Eagles won. They beat the Patriots. Like it was intense, and like from what I saw, is no one was really like crying or like nobody was really like super like thankful. Like I don't know. It was just like I feel like if USA won the World Cup, I'd be fucking crying, like tears of happiness, dude, look, we've actually have made something of ourselves. Like it's actually a real deal. Like, and maybe because World Cups like every 4 years, and the Super Bowl is like every year. Because then if Eagles lost that Super Bowl, they'd be like, oh, we'll get them next year. But the World Cup, something like that, like when you lose, it's like a huge down because like you gotta wait another 4 years just to watch it, like or just to play in the World Cup if you even qualify. And we know a lot about not qualifying, right? I noticed for some clips of MLS in the 90s that I saw stadiums filled up to a lot of fans. um, that could be true. That could be maybe like a smaller stadium, but if you're, back then, uh, when the MLS first was inaugurated, when they had their first couple seasons, a lot of the teams who were in MLS, I think it was just 8 teams in the beginning. A lot of those teams really played in tremendously large stadiums. Like I believe the Metro Stars played in like the old Giant Stadium, which was like like 70,000 capacity. Like they're all huge. Like they were all playing in giant stadiums. Like dude, like first of all, like I think they thought that soccer was going to be bigger after that. Like, when we had the World Cup here in the USA in the 90s, I believe, that people thought, like, yeah, people showed up for the World Cup. Why won't they show up for their own league here? Like, because they didn't show up just for the like Americans. They kind of, I'm sure a lot of people also showed up just for like their country's teams or like other famous players from that time. And that's something MLS did not have at the time. So maybe it was just the way the footage was recorded. Like they kind of made those camera magic angles where they can pretend to see that everything's filled. Does that make sense? My opinion, no, I would suck. Baseball since most fans in Europe, most fans in Europe grew up watching their local teams and have deep roots with their team, like we do with our sports. Yeah, and it's definitely it's something that's passed down through generations. Like you go into like England, and someone's like someone's grandpa's like mentioned Man United fan. Chances are their great grandchildren are going to be Man United fans because it runs in the family almost. It's almost like a family tradition, kind of like here. Like your dad, like my dad is a Giants fan, and my brother is a Giants fan just because of my dad. And like I'm sure, um, like my kids probably won't even like the Giants, but I supported the Giants when I was like with my dad in Jersey. But but that's how it is. Parents like that you adapt that kind of stuff from your parents, like that kind of support of what our team is support, because you're like, oh, I want to be like my dad or my mom who like this team. Like you look up to them, and it's just passed down to you, and then passed down to the kids like after you have. Like it's just in the roots, and I understand that. That's good. All right, let's. We're on 43. We got 15 minutes. We can read some more comments here and reply to them on the channel. Let's see who that was from. Here we go. We got one from Tony to Canova. Here we go. What about introducing the pro rel system by using the 3-year average for relegation, like they do it in Mexico and Argentina? Basically, the ones who end up last may not go down because of the relegation is decided by the average of the last 3 years. This helps with the newcomers because it's hard in our first year, in your first year in the league, and it's really hard to compete. Okay, I can see your point there. A 3-year a 3-year system. So like basically, Cincinnati right now, if we had promotion relegation, they would not be relegated because we would go and see what happened the last 3 years. In the last 3 years, like how they performed and like points total or something like that, I believe. And then if they still are underperforming from the last 3 years, then that third year they would be relegated to the second division. But I can see your point because I agree it is hard for some new teams to come into the MLS or into the big leagues and really perform well right off the bat. But that's where good winner money comes from. And what is that? Good reward from getting to get promoted. You should get a good amount of reward from being promoted to the MLS. Like that way, some good compensation, basically good compensation to be promoted to the MLS. That way, small teams like Cincinnati have the funds to go out and buy players. Buy, not trade. Actually, go out and buy some players who they think or they need to help them stay, not just stay in the MLS, but compete in the MLS. That would be a definitely way. And also, yeah, don't copy we don't want to copy the Mexican league because first of all, we don't fucking care about our Liga MX, boy. Uh, let's see. Let's do one more here. We're gonna do one more of these comments, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk. You guys can ask more questions on here, and we'll have some story time or whatever. All right, we got this long one here from Hector Flores. Hector, I don't know if you're here, but if you're here, what up, boy? I think in order for Pro Bowl to work, conferences have to go. You can't just have the two worst teams in each conference get relegated because what if there's a team in Western Conference that has the worst record than the one and the Eastern Team Conference that they're getting relegated? I think if MLS adopts USL and their system, they need to restructure the entire league system to keep it fair. I think keeping the top 20 of the soon to be 30 league teams should stay in the MLS and the rest go down to the USL Championship and so on and so forth. Uh, as far as Pro L goes, I think the four worst teams are up for relegation, with the two worst being automatically relegated, and the other play against the teams that lost in the semifinals of the lower league for a chance to play in the higher division. For instance, let's say Colorado finishes 17th, they would have to go play Phoenix Rising because they gave up more goals than the other semifinalist team did. So, okay, that is a little confusing even for me. But um, first of all, Hector would not want a conferences in a promotion relegation system, and I get it. But I think MLS is too big and the country is too big that we need to have conferences. That way, people, um, I don't know, it's a bigger country. It's a more well-known thing here in America, so it'd be easier for American sports fans who are not familiar with soccer, not familiar with a relegation or promotion system, to go in and get involved with MLS because they're like, all right, they come into MLS, cool, all right, we get it. We don't have any conferences. Like, how does that work? You just have one table. Off the bat, they'd be a little confused. But if they come in and they see conferences, they're like, all right, these teams are from the West, these teams are from the East Conference. Okay, I get it. So they can kind of relate to their own sport that they like, whether it be soccer, whether it be football, baseball, or basketball. That way, they can have some kind of familiarity with MLS and their own teams. I mean, and their own sports. So I definitely would disagree there with you, Hector Flores, because I think uh, a one table in MLS is just it wouldn't work out here. And I doubt the MLS would want to keep 20 teams. They would not want to have 20 teams, especially if they have all those teams pay to get into the MLS. But I think 24 would be manageable. Um, and as far as like the way he set up the way teams get relegated, I would have to disagree because I think it'd just be too confusing for common American sports fans to follow along with their relegation system, and even for like people who are well known, well versed in promotion relegation in other leagues. It would be like I just got confused reading that, so it would be kind of confusing for a lot of people to go ahead and be like, all right, who's gonna get relegated, who's gonna go play against the fourth relegated team, and so on and so forth. Like I would have to disagree, unfortunately. All right, gonna get ready to wrap this up. So if you guys have any more questions or any, it doesn't have to be promotion relegation. Now we're like 10 minutes in. I mean, 10 minutes until we have to go out with the fam. So the last 10 minutes, if you guys want to ask any questions about promotion relegation, any questions about MLS, any about any teams around the world, or any questions just about your boy Drew, um, let them rip. I take a sip of my water. Reply to the woman real quick. Okay, sorry. Oh my god, Caesar, bro. Yo, Caesar killing it with the questions here. But I mean, you guys are all killing it. But Caesar, I feel like sometimes he asks things that are like kind of on my mind. Thoughts on Alexi Lawless? First of all, Alexi Lawless, I have like a love hate relationship with him. Uh, I don't love him. I don't hate him, but sometimes he'll say some stupid shit just to get people annoyed. Like if I brought up promotion relegation to him in a conversation, he'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, how would you set it up? And what about these teams? And what about this? And how would this system work?" I'm like, dude, like I don't have the answers here. Like I'm just putting the idea out there. Like he would attack me for even putting out an idea in MLS. And Alexi Lalas is like, he's fucking some. He just pisses me off sometimes. And I follow him on Twitter because uh, I just like to annoy myself. Like if I want to get annoyed, I'm like, all right, let me look up the next Alexi Lawless podcast or whatever. And like, I feel like maybe it's in his contract, but with the kind of uh, credibility he has, if he has any here in America for American soccer, coming through being an actual professional of American soccer, he has a lot of credibility in that field. So that I feel like he could use that and use the influence as well to be helping MLS grow here in America, like or help American soccer grow as a whole. But he kind of he kind of does talk about MLS sometimes. If there's some controversies, he'll talk about him. But for the most part, he kind of sticks to European stuff, and that kind of annoys me as well because I'm like, dude, if I was like as well known as Alexi Lawless, I would have been putting most of my time, like 90% of my time, talking about MLS and trying to help grow MLS. But maybe Alexi Lawless has something in his contract just because he works for Fox Sports or whatever that he has to only talk about, you know, European teams more than MLS or whatever it is. But even on this podcast, I feel like his podcast should just be solely MLS. But then I'd be out of a job because I feel like a lot of people watch him than they do watch me. I'm about to eat dinner. And what? Oh, Antoine, have a good night. I hope dinner goes well. Say hi to the wife and kid. Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. No joke. Okay, where am I? Where am I? Yeah, so Alexi Lawless definitely. That's my thoughts on Alexi Lawless. He annoys me. I guess I hate him. I guess I don't have a love hate. I think it's just pure hatred. Not hatred, pure annoyance. Let's be nice, guys. Pure annoyance. I hate him. KP, who's your favorite my favorite to win the Champions League? Okay, my favorite to win the Champions League, possibly Liverpool, and obviously I gotta say Barcelona because Barcelona has got Lionel Messi, and if you have Lionel Messi in your team, you were a favorite to win anything. Um, so Liverpool, Barcelona, and I Manchester City. That's it. Those are my top three favorites to win. Anyone else like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, they're not as strong as they used to be, especially in European soccer. I think that if first of all, if Real Madrid gets their shit together, then they go ahead and actually compete better. They got good signings in this summer, but I think it's gonna take a little while for Zinedine Zidane to really adapt his new players to his format. So I don't think he'll win it this year, but maybe next year he'll be at least a contender. But for right now, Man City, Liverpool, and Barca. Black Yoshi, dude, your name always cracks me up when I see it on my notifications. Dude, Drew, Mexico might beat the United States 3-0. They got their World Cup. Okay, yes. Yes. First of all, I am going to make a video about previewing the USA and Mexico game in September, which is like 2 days away. Not the game is in a couple days, but I'm going to make a preview video giving you guys my full thoughts on that. But yes, real quick here, in Mexico, it does have a strong team, and I'm very nervous because they got Herbert Lozano, they got Chicharito, they got Raul Jimenez. They got a lot of players back, a lot of players ready and hungry to really go back again and defeat us once more. And what's crazy is they still don't have Carlos Vela because they got some issues there. Carlos Vela with the national team, whatever. Who cares? So all you LAFC fans are lucky that your boy Vela is not going to be leaving on international duty. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your channel and everything you do with it. Talk to you soon. Have a good night. Oh, thanks for know everything. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Thanks for coming out. Tony Canova. Yo, I just read one of your comments. Cool. Tony Canova, who do you think will win the CONCACAF Champions League next year? Will it finally be the year? Okay. The CONCACAF Champions League next year, we're going to have good teams in there. We're going to have LAFC. We're going to have Atlanta United. Probably, hopefully, Philadelphia Union. Wait. What am I thinking? I'm totally thinking of the wrong stuff. Well, I think we'll definitely have LAFC in there. And we'll have Atlanta United because they just won the U.S. Open Cup, so they're going to be automatically in the CONCACAF Champions League. So those two teams right there, LAFC and Atlanta United, I think could give us a good run or give us good hope to at least reaching another final. Since we had like a couple years ago, we had Toronto FC in the final against Chivas, where they only just lost by a slim margin through penalties. That could have been our year, but I'm glad it wasn't Toronto. I that was going to win. I really wanted to be like an American team, and it kind of sounds rude, but like, it's different. I feel like so LAFC and Atlanta United, hopefully. Like Yoshi, is it normal for me to be scared whenever Brad Guzan is behind it? No, bro. Anytime Brad Guzan is in the net, I'm scared as well. I'm like, dude, what is this guy doing? Like I said in my video the other day, all credit and respect to Brad Guzan for always being here for the national team and always willingly accepting his second place as a goalkeeper starter, right behind Tim Howard. But I feel like every time Howard was out or injured or whatever, Guzan really never impressed me. And he had a he's just I think he's run his course. He's good for Atlanta United, but I just I never had faith in him ever in the net, and I have more faith in Ethan Horvath than I do Brad Guzan. But you guys know Zach Seven's my boy. KP, how do you know that Atlanta is the only one who qualifies so far? Oh yeah, LAFC will win the Shield. So yeah. I think Atlanta qualified because they won the U.S. Open Cup, right? I believe they just won that. So I think winning the U.S. Open Cup does grant you not leeway, does grant you a place in the CONCACAF Champions League. So I believe that's how it works. And if I'm wrong, I'm a fraud. All right, next one. Lander 484. Do you think the CONCACAF Champions League starting up, although it may be not a highly coveted tournament, is better than just having a bunch of friendly matches? Do you think the CONCACAF Nations League starting up, although yeah, I think the Nations League, like UEFA Nations League and the CONCACAF Champions Nations League, I think it's better than just having a bunch of random friendlies because I think the friendlies are like that's the other friendlies. A lot of people don't really take that too seriously. But a Nations League is kind of a little different. It's almost still kind of a friendly, but I feel like a couple years down the line, it will be looked at as not just a friendly. It's like maybe looked at as a real tournament. So I do like the Nations League idea, and I think it's a good chance for us to really test our squad more times during the year instead of just two friendlies in September and then wait 5 more months and then have two more friendlies. Like it's a good way to have another little tournament to really get our mojo going and get some good players in and show them what they got. I agree. Cesar Perez. Atlanta United has won more sports trophies than the other Atlanta sports team have done recently. Atlanta needs a team that actually is winning something. Atlanta United, yeah, you're right. I don't follow too much football or other sports here in America, but if that's a fact, then that they definitely should win, or at least deserve to win the CONCACAF Champions League. Teams like LAFC and Atlanta do have what it takes to win the CONCACAF Champions League. Like they got the firepower, they got the star power, they got the players, the defensive ability, they've got the playing style. Like they can do it. They just can't go to a Mexican team away or like a Guatemalan team like someone else did last year and really just bottle it. Like they can't bottle it and be destroyed in the first leg and then try to come back and win it in the second leg. Like I think Atlanta United did lose their first leg last year. And they came home to try to win it in the second round, but it was too much. They couldn't. So that's that. That is that. All right. I think that's it. I am gonna get ready to go, guys. Before you leave, thank you so much for watching the channel. Thank you so much for first of all, watching the channel and coming to the live stream and being supporters of not just me, but supporters of trying to grow soccer here in America. Because your boy Drew can't do it alone. This is only gonna happen if all of us come here. We grow as a fan base here, and we can go ahead and try to show the world that soccer is. Try to show America that soccer is fucking real deal, and show the world that American soccer. Yo, we're coming for you. We're fucking coming for you. Dupe is right, Zero. Yo, thank you guys so much for coming out. Like, I was kind of nervous nobody was gonna show up, but I got some loyal people here who love soccer just as much as I do, and I really appreciate all your comments on that video, and appreciate all your comments on this video as well. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for kicking it with me, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Gotta find out how to turn this off now. You guys are still watching me. It's awkward. I cannot find the button to turn this off. Oh, there we go. Found it. See you guys. Thanks.